surely you have those kinds of jokes that are only funny to you, and they always die in the real silliness.
Yeah, like I used to tell this joke about.
Yeah.
There's two, because I was reminiscing, There's a.
He's having his own private wonder years.
There's two muffins in an oven. One muffin says, "Oh my God, it's getting hot in here," and the other muffin says, "Holy shit, a talking muffin." And ever since high school, I've always thought that was adorable. Just imagining like the little mini wheat faces on a little muffin.
Mini wheat faces.
Yeah, little mini wheats.
Frosted mini.
Frosted mini wheats. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they have a little animation.
I'm aware.
But putting the faces on a muffin, and it's just just little.
As they're aflame.
Yeah, as they're coming up, and I've always loved that, and I could laugh my ass off, man.
Oh.
We had to sing a little muffin panicking, while another muffin in amazement.
Good lord. It's getting much more sadistic than I thought what you were chuckling at, which is just the prospect of two talking muffins with cute faces.
No,
that's cute.
But you're taking delight in their absolute displeasure.
Well, jeez, you okay?
There has to be conflict.
Yeah. It's called storytelling, Kenny. Jeez.
All right.
Nobody wants to watch two people.
I have to sleep
drinking
now.
milk.
Martini Shot. Horrors of...
Should make that.
Functions of horror. Thank you.
Who is it? John Laurie? John Laurie would make that?
James Wang.
Oh, like fishing with John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just two people drinking milk.
I think that was
coming to a draft house party near you.
TV, or coffee and
yeah, coffee and cigarettes.
Cigarettes, yeah. Coffee and TV was Blur. What are we talking about? Horror?
Jarmusch.
Functions of horror movies. I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
we put that in, but
yeah. All right. I'll okay. So what you phrased it like? What makes an effective horror movie, right?
Yeah.
What do you want out of a horror movie? Because I'll say this: I love horror movies. There's like maybe a few that I think are actually scary.
Okay.
Like that's not what I'm going into specifically to be scared.
Sure.
I'm happy when it is, but I think there's a lot more to the genre than that.
Because I feel like that's an ever-evolving thing, too. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like, because I try to think about it in my head, like, today's scary movies, are far different than, let's just say, 15 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Or even jump even further, 30 years ago. Is it 30 or 40 years now with the slashers? But it's far different.
Well, because we know that they exist. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain degree of surprise in comedy and horror. So like, I think like one of the things I really like is when they play with that language. Like I would say like the classic, like somebody's coming up behind you in a mirror, right?
Yeah.
You could be like a hack and just have them pop in, or you could play with the audience as the audience is going, oh, something's going to pop up in that mirror. And either like do a fake out, cut right to it like a little early. Like the audience has that language, so you can like play with it now.
Totally surprised, and there'd be nothing.
That's wild. That's such an erudite thing for an audience to be aware of, because I don't think that general audiences are necessarily aware of cinematic language.
Yeah, but that's subconsciously they are.
Yeah, at the same time, probably like the most with horror. If you do that shot, an audience will know what that means.
Yes.
An audience will know so many of the tropes, which is such a sophisticated thing that is not, that's learned behavior, that's not taught.
Well, like my mom, I'll watch a movie and my mom's like, oh, he's about to jump off the thing. Like, he's about to do the thing. And she's not going.
I knew it moments.
I know that this is framed in a wide shot, or there's some negative space off to the side, and so it's going to enter because there's negative space. She just sees the thing. It's like, oh, I know a thing will happen.
Right.
We're just trained.
Yeah.
The sound drops. And then people are already automatically aware. And they might even be cognizant of the fact that the sound has dropped off, but they're just on the edge of their seat because subconsciously something has happened.
Right. And that's also why a lot of movies get lazy, is because they know, oh, if I do this, if I play the happy song, people are going to feel happy.
Right. Yeah.
But are we going to define horror movies? Because, like, to me, like, the Rob Zombie is not necessarily horror.
Yeah.
It's just gore.
Sure.
It's like House of a Thousand Corpses. There was a couple moments, but there was a lot of that's not really necessary.
I mean, this is your discussion, so if I'm leading this,
no,
but
please go.
I think you need to define it for this room, because genres are always like Even though we don't have movies on shelves, they're to sell movies on shelves.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you go to Vulcan Video.
Yeah.
Locations nearby.
Well, they
Hey,
they
I
sell
know.
videos at Vulcan.
Yeah, on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sell them on the shelf.
Which
That's why Aaron plugged it.
yeah.
But
Try to
also
get us
those
sponsors, Kenny.
also those shelves have things like Cult that are also going to have horror
yeah.
and comedy and like genre blending things. And we're also
Yeah.
in an era that's like we're a lot friendlier to genre bending than we ever have been in the past.
I mean, populist cinema right now
Mhm.
is genre. That's
Uh-huh.
that's what it is. It's,
yeah, but also like imagine an action movie without quips these days, right?
yeah.
It still has an air of comedy. There's still like I don't know.
You can't help but chuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure it's been there since Die Hard and before, but like even like Iron Man setting that precedent, you can't think of unless you're going full Nolan, and we'll just put that as a shifter on the gear.
Yeah, except that Nolan has quips too, which feels
That's true.
so
Shoehorned
it feels
sometimes.
so out of place within.
I still thought it was funny in Begins.
That's
but,
great.
yeah.
I'm glad. That's great. Well, maybe that begs the better questions of a better question.
Mhm.
Your question is dumb. Mine is better.
Yes, correct.
Your question is dumb.
I know, Kenny.
Mine.
I know. That's why I put you on the.
Mike. Never mind.
That's why I put you on the podcast.
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you define as a genre movie? What do you
Mhm.
what if quips within an action movie denote genre?
Mhm.
What are the marks
Yeah.
of a genre film? Because
I think it's to me. I usually I try and define what is it trying to do most. Is it trying? Is it trying?
Okay.
Is it trying to evoke action? Is it trying to evoke comedy? And sometimes, or is it trying to evoke horror or comedy? And those things get like something like Tucker and Dale is really hard line on stuff
Yeah.
like that. And
'Cause they took
sometimes,
both lines.
yeah, like sometimes I just throw the title out the window and I don't care as long as I'm interested in the movie.
Right.
I don't need to define it per se unless
Yeah.
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 Kenny, you look
You're thinking-
amazed.
I'm perplexed.
Yeah.
Go on.
Because
Mm.
Tucker and Dale is definitely a genre film.
Yeah. Which genre?
A genre.
I know.
The genre.
Yeah.
the demographic that is genre films because
Mhm.
they're the upper crusts dramas and Oscars and
Mhm.
Oscar bait films, and then there is the bucket that is known as genre, which is
Mhm.
everything that is not a drama or a rom-com.
Right.
Right.
Well, because those used to be hard sci-fi or hard horror or hard. They're just like almost exploitative films because you label a movie horror movie, you're going to get kids to go out to the drive-in to see a horror movie. So that you're
yeah.
just sort of
Yeah.
like, okay, or we're gonna sell it on deep 70s voice talking over like splatter shots. That's going to get people there, and then you weave your movie into that.
So really, a genre is just a device to get people in seats. It's a marketing tactic.
Ostensibly, a genre would be set pieces that a story is bombed onto. I think that's highly reductive.
So in other
Sure.
words, what you're saying is the genre is, hey, you need this in your genre. Here's your tent poles, your tent points,
Mhm.
Sure.
and drape everything on top of it. Your story.
Sure, but maybe.
Well, because if you're trying to evoke a feeling, and I think horror is the hardest genre with this because it overlaps so many different things. It might be the biggest tent of a genre.
Yeah.
Because is it ultimately trying to evoke dread? I mean, a thriller can do that.
Right.
Is it ultimately trying to scare you? Any movie can
Yeah, any movie can scare you.
Scare
Not
you.
even a horror movie or a
Mhm.
thriller can scare you.
Right. I think
Supersize Me scared people, and
Sure.
that's why we don't have.
French fries anymore.
Yeah.
That's true. We abolished French fries.
Yeah. They're freedom fries.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I remember when that.
That was a
happened.
thing?
Yeah.
Before hashtags, and that was still popular.
Yeah. Wasn't that like the
Somehow
early
it was
2000s?
popular.
Yeah, it
without-
still was.
Without a hashtag.
How can you be popular without hashtags?
Back then it was just a pound sign.
Yeah. Pound
Simpler
sign.
days.
Yeah.
Yep. Pound sign pet rock.
What? Pound sign pet rock?
Pet rock.
You're talking about Lisa's alt band.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
pound
Pound
sign
sign
pet
pet rock.
rock.
Yeah.
Yep.
I go with that band. I'd support you.
Thank you.
To me, a horror movie has to involve death at some point. Like someone has to die.
What about a psychological thriller?
That's not horror.
Yes, it is.
See, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
We're getting into like,
Yeah.
'cause-
Gray areas, yeah.
Exorcist is a
Yeah.
horror.
I was
Exorcist
gonna
is
bring that
also a
up.
thriller.
Exorcist. The scariest part of The Exorcist is the priest losing his faith. To me,
Yeah.
bar
I've,
none.
I've never seen it.
The scariest
Oh.
part of Exorcist for me, I can just imagine putting myself in that,
Mhm.
seeing this without any context, just knowing that the movie is called The Exorcist, and then just a mother having to deal with her child as she's.
Mhm.
You genuinely don't know what is happening.
Right.
You just know that this child might have severe psychological trauma. There might be something very wrong,
Mhm.
and it plays it so realistically as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
And it ends up being a demons, which thank goodness.
Spoiler.
Yes, spoilers
I
for
mean,
eight.
I'm gonna reword it and see if you like it or not. I
Okay.
think loss is a good way to put it. Loss.
Oh,
Like
horror is
not
okay.
death per se,
Right. But,
but
there has
a
to be
loss of
loss.
something,
Okay, I like
or
that.
at least
yeah,
the
yeah.
tease of loss.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in that sense, is Castaway a horror movie?
Never
Was
technically
he-
saw. And
What does he lose?
What is he in threat of losing?
I mean, he's in threat of losing his family,
Mind.
his entire livelihood, his
Mhm.
mind, his sanity,
Mhm.
his.
What do you think the director wanted you to feel ultimately, though? Did it want you to feel that loss, or did it want you to feel the upturn?
To be fair, I was pretty much a child when I watched it.
Oh, that's
Sure.
interesting.
So, but I would say I felt, as you
Mhm.
know, a younger kid, I was like, oh no, how's this guy gonna get
Yeah.
home? So I guess if I were
Sure.
to equate that to, my comprehension now, it'd just be like, what if I lost everything that I've been accustomed to?
Yeah.
So, a loss of safety and comfortability.
Yeah, safety and being comfortable and just my everyday life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that. I don't think the point of Robert Zemeckis making Castaway though.
Well, no, I'm just saying, but if we're
was
defining it as loss.
right,
Mhm.
but is the intent for you to feel loss, which I think
Right,
that
right.
might mark the difference between a horror film and
Mhm.
something like Castaway, apparently.
Throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Well, because the intent is probably to the intent of that is to be with Chuck Nolan on the island, feeling him triumph and getting back to his baser instinct,
FedEx.
and putting together
FedEx.
FedEx,
FedEx.
putting together
Building FedEx. From
building
the ground
FedEx
up.
from the ground up.
From the FedEx to the FedEx.
As opposed to something like Exorcist, as opposed to something like Halloween, as opposed to something like Alien, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, where it might not be part of the actual intention of something like Friday the 13th, but everyone else trying to just to make you feel that palpable sense of,
Mm-hmm.
for lack of a less clever term, horror of losing all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is safe. This piece is about loss,
Right.
and you should feel this.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
I think
a lot
that's
of
the
sense.
closest I can get to how I go in wanting that kind of like feeling, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is why thriller's always been weird to me.
Right.
Because I feel like that's one where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm gonna. I feel like thriller and drama are almost like, we don't know quite what to call this
So here.
sometimes.
Yeah, like here you go, just enjoy.
Yeah.
Because like Skin I Live In is just a deep. It's one of my favorite films of all time, but it's also just very
Mhm.
thick and it's very.
Is that the
tense.
Banderas one?
Yes, Banderas,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was great.
It's
I
very-
really liked it.
You feel like you're just kind of going through sludge the whole time
Mhm.
in your adventure, and you don't know what you're going through, and it's just heavy.
Yeah.
But that's to me that's a
Mhm.
thriller. I think it's fair
Okay.
to call it that.
Yeah. I don't think it's a straight up horror,
Yeah, it's not a horror. It's
but it also I think it dances with the genre to a certain degree too. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What classifies as thriller?
That's honestly harder for me.
to me. I
Yeah.
think it's a lack of blood
I like a
in
blood.
today's modern era.
Yeah. Something that plays on suspense.
Action without big set pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Something
Maybe.
a little
Not-
more character
maybe
driven.
dialogue rather than
Yeah,
action.
because what is an action scene except putting you through beats that are very similar to a horror film, but without the grotesque visuals.
Right.
You're still going on that roller coaster ride.
yeah.
You're still.
But you want to feel adrenaline.
Mhm.
Well, different kind of adrenaline. I
Right.
guess. Yeah.
It's the flight rather than, or I guess it'd be
Yeah.
the fight. One of those two. I don't know. Hey,
That's
I'm
your
James
last
Fight.
name.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
me.
James Fight.
You want to feel me. when
James
you're
Fight,
telling-
not the James Flight.
That's right. When
So
you're watching
it-
any movie.
It's rather the experience rather than the actual flight.
Yep.
I think
Right.
there's the empowerment thing too with an action movie, where it's
Yeah.
like you want to you
You
want
want to get into a fight afterwards. That's
well
kind of
like you
playing
want to
on
feel
that.
like you're winning a fight, like
Yeah,
you want to
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like you're Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You want to I want to feel like
Ethan Hawke. That's the one you go to?
yep. Yeah. I thought it was funny.
It is.
I was waiting for you to correct me and say Ethan Hunt, but sure, we'll keep going.
Ethan Hawke in an action movie just waxing philosophically for far too long while explosions are going off.
That might be a thriller, though.
So thrillers are just action movies, but with a deeper meaning.
I think
With more tension, like, well,
no, different tension. Because I was kind of doing that too. Because I'm like, maybe it's the difference between like seeing the train sequence and seeing like the cows during the train sequence. Like the action movie's off in the background, but you're like focusing on something else. Like it's
Right.
part of that world, but it's not the focus of the scene.
Right.
I'm not
Okay.
quite sure on this one.
but no, I see what you're getting at. It's because like, okay, Nightmare on Elm Street, tons of tension,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
tons of tension,
Sure.
and that's one thing.
Mhm.
But as opposed to another like Doubt is a great film
Okay.
on just tension. That's basically the only action in the entire film.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's just Meryl Streep and rest in peace. What's his name? Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh,
just
yeah.
conversing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. But there's such tension, and they do it so well that to me, I'm more exhausted coming out of a thriller than any horror movie I've ever watched.
Well, because I think horror and comedy have to have that release.
Right.
You have
Yeah.
to pop it, like, or else you're unsatisfied.
Yeah.
Like I think if it's build, credits, spinning top of the end of Inception or something. Which thriller, action thriller? I'm not quite sure.
I would call it a thriller.
But the set pieces are very action too, though.
That's true. It's a thriller that wants to be an action movie.
But if that ending was like something that ambiguous was at the end of a horror movie, I think it would be really unsatisfying.
Isn't
Right.
that the end of a lot of horror movies now?
But they always pop the tension before they do the question mark, right?
Yeah.
There's still like a big murder before Jason jumps out of the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there's
Okay.
still the Carrie raining blood and murder fest before like jump scare at the end. Like there's always, I think it's like, yeah, it
There's
kind of
always
goes down before
catharsis.
more. Yeah.
Right. Whereas thriller is lack of that. They want to withhold that from you.
Not all of them, but I feel like
Sure.
the ones
I
that
feel like a lot.
Let's give examples of thrillers.
Right.
Fight Club. Are we not calling that a thriller?
Well, what
I don't know what else to put it in.
yeah,
to be honest.
if we're trying to
Again, genre blending. I
if
think.
we're trying to define what a thriller is, and no
Yeah.
one else is providing examples, then Fight Club has to be a
Castaway.
thriller.
Stop bringing up Castle.
Usual Suspects.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
I think they usually.
For
Yeah,
some
right.
reason, the Johnny Depp movie Nick of Time comes up. I don't
All
know,
the time.
I don't know why. That's just the first thing that comes to my mind when
Uh-huh.
it's a
Sure.
thriller.
Sure.
Okay.
What about the recent one? John Krasinski. It was
Oh,
Quiet
Quiet
Place.
Place.
Oh, Quiet Place.
What would you label that?
I think
Horror?
it's at least built as that's horror.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
definitely creature horror.
Okay, it's for someone that blends into the both. M. Night Shyamalan, when he was decent, I think.
Oh, he's decent again.
No, now he is. Yeah,
He's decent.
with
I
Split
wanna
and Glass
see-
coming in, Glass is gonna look amazing. I think.
I still need to see. Split.
I
I'm
think-
ex-
I
I
can
love
see Split
Unbreakable.
too.
But like,
I
Yeah,
was very
Unbreakable's
big
great.
into like
Yeah.
but the before.
like to me, that's he.
yeah, no,
he
I
left
would
you
put
wanting
those as
more.
thrillers. I
Like,
think.
So I think
They were thrillers with a heavy hand in horror. I would definitely not call any of them horror.
The Village was a stupid thriller.
I like The Village
Yeah.
until the twist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until the
Like
end, I was
that's
like,
yeah.
that's the thing is I'm pretty good at the journey, not the destination, which is I think why I was cool with it. But yeah,
I was not cool with it, like many others. You know what was another bad one? The Happening.
Oh yeah, that's where I stopped.
Yeah, no, as you should.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Never saw it.
yeah.
You don't.
That's why I was surprised
Great.
because I saw The Happening. And
Wonderful.
I'm just, that's
Yeah.
very different than everything else I had watched.
Ooh. Well,
Uh,
I want to end on a better
Sure.
note than The Happening.
I mean, you talk about Hitchcock, which blends.
Oh,
a lot,
yeah.
which is usually billed.
Rear Window.
Yeah,
It's
Rear
all-
Window.
that's-
Well, most of his stuff is billed as thriller, which De Palma, however you feel, if he's aping or homaging, falls
Right.
into a lot of that too.
De Palma's definitely a thriller filmmaker
Yeah.
and uses a lot of tools that could be easily ascribed to horror,
Mm-hmm.
but there is very rarely that catharsis though.
But his early stuff was pretty horror. I mean, like Sisters,
Well, I mean,
Phantom
yeah.
of the Paradise,
Also Carrie,
and Carrie. Yeah,
which is
yeah, straight up.
to me, I feel like that one doesn't get mentioned a lot,
Carrie?
Carrie, or
I
as
don't
often
know.
as it should.
Yeah, I know.
Because like my mom swears that will always be the most terrifying movie to her in her generation.
well, thrillers. I guess in that similar vein, perhaps thrillers possess tension. I think you guys already said this. Thrillers possess the tension, then horror possesses the tension plus catharsis.
Yeah.
How about thrillers is the focus on the tension, whereas horror is the focus on the release of the tension.
Oh,
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, good.
That was
Winky,
good.
winky, wink.
Are we
There we go.
recording? That one was good.
I hope we're recording.
That one was good.
Sure.
But
So-
we're gonna stop now.
That was a great rehearsal. Now let's go ahead and
Yeah.
film that.
Let's go. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
I'd say